Good old Sunday morning with
Oh boy,
Dashawn Myers.
time for church with Dashawn Myers. Ooh
How's it
wee.
going?
Hey
How's
man,
it
thanks
going,
for coming.
everybody?
Thanks for
Good
coming,
Thank you
man.
for
morning. Good
having me.
morning.
Thank you for having me.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, we got like our number one fan of all time so far. So far, our only fan of all time, also, but he's still a fan. Like, Dashawn, you are a veteran as well, yes?
Yes, I am.
Can
Absolutely.
you tell us a little bit about what you did at your during your term of service? What all did you do? What branch? What was your military occupational specialty? Like, what all did you do?
Well, I joined in. I joined in as first off, I started off in in RTC before in a Navy
Okay,
RTC in high school, and I thought I was going to join the Navy. Ended up joining the Army, and I
okay,
went to AIT for 91 Fox, which is small arms and artillery repair.
absolutely. Go Ordnance, right? That's Ordnance,
Yeah,
right? 91 series. I started as
yeah,
91 series too, so hell yeah, Ordnance, right?
yeah. The man behind the gun. Yeah.
God, I hate
So
that fuck. I hated that fucking song. I hated that fucking song. The first time I sang that song in AIT, I was like, shit, I'm gonna have to reclass just on the basis this song is so horrible. You
it was
know,
very
like,
confusing. Yeah,
It,
it was very confusing.
the last line for everybody that doesn't know some of the different army branches. So you have like infantry, engineers, armor, air defense, artillery.
Mhm.
All these other military intelligence, military police. All those are all branches of the army. Myself and Dashawn obviously started our careers as ordnance, which mechanics fall into. He was small arms repair. I was a wrench turner on the big engineer truck. So, but
Yeah.
the Ordnance Corps has a song, and the last line of this song is "By the man, behind the gun." So you're by the man who's behind. You're behind the man who's the man. Like, no, dude, no,
Yeah, yeah, it could have
no.
been so much easier.
It
Yeah,
could have been so much more hardcore. Like, okay, yeah, I'm
exactly.
running a wrench, but if the fob starts getting overrun, I pick up my gun. See, I just made
Yeah,
a rhyme right there, and I wasn't even trying. Fob gets overrun, I put down the wrench and pick up a gun. How hard is
yeah,
that, Ordnance Corps? How hard is that? That's why I went
U.S.
infantry,
Army's next trap artist right here.
dude.
yeah. You
Dude,
got it.
that's it. I had to after singing that song in AIT, I had to reclass infantry. I just had to. I apologize, Hassan. I interrupt you. So
No,
go
you're
ahead.
fine. You're
Where'd
fine.
you get stationed at, or where'd you do your tour, basically of
Uh,
service to the army?
I went to Third ID. That's where I met Sanchez, and
Rocking them on.
oh yeah, and pretty much it was an eventful time there at Third ID. I had to get
Did
out
you did you
eventually.
did you enjoy your time in service?
Oh, I did. I really did. I actually re-enlisted, but due to some circumstances, I couldn't stay in.
Okay, okay. That happens. That happens.
Yeah,
So absolutely. That is it. That is something that I told myself. How old did you say you were, Deshaun?
I'm 28.
28. Okay, so you're 20 years old. I didn't join until I was 29, and I kind of saw the army as kind of like my second chance, kind of like a second shot
Hmm.
at life. I was one of those terminal life failures. Like never got too unofficially terribly bad off that it was all over, but I was so in not a good place, in life. So I didn't join the army until I was 28 when I went to MEPS, but I turned 29 in basic training. So yeah,
Wow.
so that's actually where my army career started. But what I told myself when I joined was I said, this is going to be a gift to you, basically. Like, see it as a gift because you are one blown out knee, one blown out back,
Ooh,
you
yeah.
know. And people get med boarded all the time, and I knew the army was kind of a gift. And the fact I was able to stay in as long as I did is kind of a miracle in and of itself. But yeah, man, it happens, man. Did you enjoy your time in the army?
I loved it. I met a lot of good people in there. I was the guide on for a while, which was
Okay,
pretty fun until I started
hell yeah,
having back problems. And
right.
as a guide on, you're leading everyone, and
Oh
everyone
yeah,
looks up to you and stuff. But it was pretty fun. I really did enjoy it, and I wanted to do more, like I said before. But given what the situation that happened, I wasn't able to re-enlist. The commander
it
did hold my paperwork.
that you know what, man, like life happens. Just because we are in the armed services doesn't mean life stops happening. That's exactly why I collected my DD-214 not too long ago myself, because life happened, and that's okay. It's something we can look back on and be proud of, and like have stories to tell our kids and shit. So yeah.
Absolutely.
And just real quick, I just want to say good morning to S. Nichelle Grant. Thank you.
Yeah.
Francisco Doc Shup. Thank you. Good
Nichelle?
morning. Good morning.
Doc, fuck yeah, it's good to see everybody. Absolutely.
There it is. Hey,
Hey,
hey, hey.
Hey, where's my? Hey, hold on. I got a leather jacket for this. Hold on.
You got a jukebox. He's gonna bring a jukebox in.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring a jukebox in. I'll bring a jukebox in, and I'll hit my elbow on it and make it turn on just like the Fonz and be like, hey.
It's a jacket.
And just so you know,
What you
guys,
think I was joking, Dashawn? You think I was joking? You think I was fucking around? No, I got a leather fucking jacket right here. Hey.
And guys, just to make it aware and just to point out, this is the first episode that Jay has not worn a Kansas City hat.
Oh,
A Kansas City Royals hat. It's a fresh hat. It's brand new.
It's either Kansas City or Kansas City Chiefs, but the reason is I have my normal black hat is the Kansas City Royals hat, and I had it on yesterday, and yes. So when I was getting dressed this morning, like it was somewhere around the house, and I was like, whatever, dude. So yeah, and I'm not wearing a gray hat with a black shirt because that just looks ridiculous. So I'm gonna wear a gray hat with an American flag with the black shirt, because that's totally different. I'm wearing a trucker's hat. It's kind of black.
Fashion forward Jay.
Yeah.
Fashion forward Jay.
I pay attention to my fashion, okay? I pay attention to my fashion.
That's right, Doc. The Fonz is in the house. He's got his DD-214 today.
I do.
So this week we most of us partook into watching a wild documentary that you suggested, 3212 Unredacted.
Yes.
Holy shit. Yes, producer. Most of us.
Yes. So
that was
yeah, it was a roller coaster ride from hell, and let me tell you, I saw this would have been about a week ago, because what is it, Sunday? So yeah, probably Monday. I posted on Facebook. Let me look it up here in a second. But while I'm looking it up, I can talk. I saw something on Reddit, on one of the military subreddits, and it was about this documentary. And so I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, it's on Hulu." Like, okay, so I have access to Hulu, so I pulled it up, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's on." So I had just gotten back home from taking my daughters to school that morning, and usually in the mornings after I get back home from taking my daughters to school, I'll spend 30 minutes to an hour just kind of like winding up and getting stuff, organized in my head and on my phone for the day, for my honey-do list that I leave myself every night before, because that's pretty much my life right now. And I was like, okay, well, I got time to watch this. And it was only like an hour and a half, or I think an hour and 40 minutes long. So like, okay, fuck it. I'll spend an extra 40 minutes, but let me see what this is all about. Because I remember the story when it was happening, when it was in the news. I remember it. And then I remember some of the other stuff that was coming out. And this would have been after I became an instructor at the NCO Academy. I remember some of the other news coming out. But they put this documentary together, and the time span of how recent it is so recent. This just happened in late 2017. Fresh. It's extremely fresh. And then not only did it just happen, it also involved our operators, special forces. So this involved 3 Green Berets and 1 support soldier, amongst many other people that were there, obviously, that day that did in fact survive. That those four gentlemen unfortunately perished in the incident. And I'm talking, like, I don't know about you guys, but like the way they started that documentary, I mean, I had the tears flowing within probably 120 seconds of that shit starting.
Yeah, I definitely cried.
And it was such a roller coaster too, because you start with the extreme. It like starts off with the extreme sadness. It's talking to a lot of the families of the members that perished, the members of the team that perished, obviously. But then it goes over and it jumps you straight into like extreme anger, because you start seeing some of the stuff that started happening initially after the fact, and then you get really, really fucking pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
So then you spend like the next several minutes of the documentary like really angry after you've just had a really good cry. You know what I mean? And then there's a fucking twist in the middle. And when that fucking twist hits, and you're like, oh my fucking God, what else? Like what's next? And the whole time you're thinking like this is like a fucking movie. This shit's like a movie, except it's a documentary. This is all real life. This is all
real. Yeah.
This is produced, but this actually happened. This is produced by ABC fucking News. This is a legitimate documentary of shit that actually happened. These are all real people that, you know, the survivors of the survivors and the family members of the ones that perished, the people that served with them. And it goes from there. So like, it's just sadness and anger, and then a big what the fuck, and then the rest of the time you're just kind of like on this like roller coaster of emotion watching this documentary, and it is just it crushed my soul. Like, what were you, John and Dashawn, when you guys watched it? Like, tell me what some of your guys' thoughts were when you initially started watching it. You got maybe 30 minutes to an hour into it. What were you guys thinking when you guys, like, what were your thoughts? Because I recommended it. So what did you guys think?
So I was pretty mentally prepared for, you know, because I thought I may have desensitized myself from these military documentaries because I watched Restrepo like 300 fucking times.
Right.
So, you know, I thought maybe, okay, this is gonna be a little lighter than that, and it was completely opposite. It was way heavier.
Way heavier.
And
I never attach warnings to stuff that I recommend. I attached a heavy warning with this one. It's like it will fuck you up. Like watching
now. So I have a couple notes here that I'll run through real quick. So the first thing that really pissed me off was LaDavid Johnson's family.
Yes.
First off, the report that he was missing, that he was captured, that he was dead. And, you know, the fact that the one representative was saying, you know, who I wish I knew who that was so I could just choke the living shit out of him.
Yeah.
You know, because
yeah.
information like that.
By the way, the guy that made that comment was a former, I think, commander, or he was on the teams. He was a former Green Beret. The guy that said that, he was a former Green Beret. So sorry, the cats. But no, that's the lack of information, or I should also say the leaking of information that had not been corroborated at that time was astoundingly bad. It was astoundingly bad in this whole situation. Too. Yeah. You're talking about obviously very highly classified operations. Okay, but then when something bad happened, there were leaks, and some of those leaks contained bad information that was not corroborated. And then on top of that, they were trying to stem almost like the flow of information going out because they didn't know exactly what exactly had happened yet. And they were still trying to piece everything together. And then they're trying to fight the press getting all this bad information, the family's getting bad information. And it just turned into this like nightmare of a clusterfuck. And go ahead and continue, John. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So then they said that he was first. They said that he was manning a machine gun, and then they said that he was driving.
Right.
You know, so that was pretty. You know,
frustrating. And then if you recall, by the way, when we were talking about this, for anybody watching, this isn't exactly a spoiler alert because all this information is already out there. This is just a documentary that kind of shows it, how it happened basically, and then what happened and some of the after effects, and talks to a lot of the family members and the peers of the people that were there. So we're not really giving any spoilers here, but
it's all in the news. Yeah.
What you were just saying, John, is, you know, they were talking that he might have been manning a machine gun and the car crashed and he flew way farther than anybody could physically fly.
Yeah. I was just crazy.
Then they had him driving the vehicle. What actually happened is he had to brake. He was attempting to break contact. Okay. And he ran 400 meters basically and tried to hide underneath a tree. And he made his last stand underneath a tree, basically in the desert bush of Niger.
They also said that he was captured at one point.
You're right. Can you imagine being, especially this is everybody frees, like this is when like ISIS was still kind of a thing
at large,
and like all the videos that they've made back in the day, and to have his family hear that he might be captured, it might be under their whatever, you know, like John, we've talked on this show previously, and I know it can at times it can sound hokey, but on all 3 of my deployments, I always kept 1 extra round in one of my pockets, like just a loose 5.56 round in one of my pockets, and it was because I never wanted to ever be captured. Like I can handle a lot of stuff. I can't handle being. I'm not gonna be made a spectacle of, right? Like that was my mentality. Is like
that's heavy.
I'm not gonna have somebody parade me in front of a camera in an orange jumpsuit. Which, by the way, not very proud of it, but I watched pretty much all those ISIS videos back in the day when they were coming out.
Yeah,
it's really good for desensitizing yourself, and it's really, really bad for your soul. So I've got a lot of stains on my soul that I need to clean, but I wasn't going to be that guy in the video. And so,
and I respect that.
And to imagine being a family member of somebody, and hearing that your family member possibly got captured by these people. That's the mentality they're in. That's the mentality they're in now. Yeah. And that's freaking, yeah.
So now, before I get to the meat and potatoes, before I get to the real stuff, when we get to General Waldhauser, Dashawn, what are your thoughts so far? Like during this process, during this whole thing, now that we're up to this point where we're talking about David Johnson, all these confusing reports and OPSEC being broken.
Right. Yeah. Especially coming from the position of having just gotten out. So like I was still very, very much in when all this happened. I was deployed just a few short months after this incident occurred is when I went and did my last deployment, when I went to Helmand in Afghanistan. And then when I came back from that deployment, I was at the NCO Academy for Carson doing my thing as an instructor. And one thing that struck me was the extreme lack of what I would call just general professionalism. Okay. I'm not going to get political about this, but the administration that was in power at the time when all this happened was not exactly known for keeping stuff under wraps.
That was leadership.
It was leadership. Yeah. There was on the military side, on the civilian political side.
Yeah.
It was dog shit leadership, and a lot of bad decisions were made very early on that created a lot of questions and this air of uncertainty over the entire incident. There were some, and they even say it in the documentary, and it really depends on, I guess, maybe the type of person you are, but there were some things that happened during that incident that were very, very valorous. There were men fighting for their lives and fighting for each other in the final moments of their life. When some of the final reports came out, some of these men have had their awards kind of like upgraded, if you will, for what they did on the field that day. And they did not go down without a fight. It was a disaster of a mission that ended very badly, but these men fought tooth and nail with their last breath. And the whole thing erupted because the military was giving a version of events, and the people that initiated the ambush, whether they were ISIS or, Boko Haram or whoever they were, they recovered GoPro footage off of one of the or several of the.
I believe it was Black.
I think it was Blacks, and they recovered his GoPro footage and exploited it, and then they made an ISIS video off of it, and then the military had to backtrack and go and retract a shitload of stuff that it had put out as the official version of events, and then turn around and try to explain what actually happened. And that's kind of what this documentary is about. And they basically threw this entire team, 3212, under the fucking bus with their commander and said, so 3212 is the number of the ODA. So trying to think how to explain this in like real layman's terms. The Green Berets operate in teams, 12-man teams. There are operational detachment alphas, and there's operational detachment bravos, and it kind of goes from there. And there's alphas are the active team members, and you can go back and forth. If you're injured, you're probably going to go down to a bravo. But the active teams that get sent and do stuff, those are all ODAs. Okay, for the most part, those are all ODAs. Okay. And if I'm wrong, and if anybody's watching, feel free to correct me, but ODAs go off of numbers. So this particular ODA was ODA 3212. Okay. And I've been in Afghanistan and I've seen guys walk in with shirts that just have like 3 numbers on them. And you just know. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like wearing like a prison number. You know what I'm saying? But except they're fucking Green Berets, right? Like they are our best. They are the best of us. You know, guys coming in with just these swag haircuts, giant fucking Grizzly Adams beards. And like you're sitting in there in the gym and you're fucking pushing your reps and you're looking at them and you're like, fuck. Oh, I wonder what that guy's last week has been like. You know what I mean? Like
these guys are cool as fuck. Yeah.
So yeah, but so to have the Army and the government, the Pentagon, I should say, give an official version of events, and then several months later, when the GoPro footage is included in a fucking ISIS video, it's obviously pretty upsetting, not only for the family members and the peers of the deceased, it's pretty fucking upsetting for the American public too. So it's going to be, that's kind of where all this really starts, is with that GoPro footage being released. And then the shitstorm erupted. And then John, go ahead and continue with your notes, please. That's kind of
no, but Dashawn, what up until this point now, what are you thinking right now? With David LaJohnson's family, the unconfirmed reports, the confusion, and even trying to figure out, was this mortar fire? Was this an ambush? Like, what's going on? What's going through your head when this is happening?
It was absolutely saddening. Like I literally, I don't normally cry when I watch TV shows or movies or anything, but hearing her and seeing that she had no emotion other than anger on her face when she was explaining the situation. It really got to me. Like, that could have been any one of us if we were to take the same route they did. And the fact that the leadership was giving false information and saying and backtracking and saying different things, it was absolutely saddening, because you would want to know what happened to your husband, your son, your brother, and be right the first time, rather than having to wonder in a situation that happened like that.
Yeah, and then this leads into General Waldhauser, which who went off on a tangent and pretty much said that the team went rogue on their own volition, that they went on a mission to look for a leader. Now, Jay, you're more in tune with the infantry guys than any of us here. Now, we all know, even a cook like me, someone who is not in the field like that, or at all. In a situation like this, what I'm aware of, that if you're in a 12-man team, it doesn't take one person to make a decision like this. And if you're going after a big person like this, you're going to need backup. You're going to need all this equipment and resources to get the guy. So what's going through your head when they're saying all this shit and they're just like, well, no, they decided to go do this on their own without telling us?
Well, what's going through my head is, obviously, first and foremost, is they're not saying everything. Something is getting massively, immediately covered up very quickly, very hush hush, and they're covering something up. Like, something was going on during that time on that mission, or in that vicinity or region of the world that they're in, that they don't want anybody else knowing about. And that's not counting the incident where these four men died. I'm talking about in that entire AO, in the entire area of operation, there's shit going on. They don't want leaking out. That's the stuff they didn't want leaking out. So they leaked a bunch of bullshit to start kind of running a smoke trail for the shit that was going on in the AO that they didn't want leaking out. And that also came up later on in the documentary. And we can get to that probably here in a minute, but that's exactly what. And I mean, it's red flag central, dude. When four people die, three of them are Green Berets, and one of them, even the fact that one of them was a support soldier. That dude was a support soldier.
Yeah.
Okay, that guy was not infantry. He was a support arms soldier. Mm-hmm. And he's out there with Green Berets, and he very valiantly died and lost his life, in the bush of Niger, in Africa. He was like, how does a support soldier end up on a mission like that? Like, Not necessarily. It is not. I want to clarify. Support soldiers go on missions with Green Berets all the fucking time. All the
Absolutely.
fucking time.
Absolutely.
If you're attached, if you're a support soldier and you're attached to a group, you will go on missions with them. Okay, so just doesn't matter what your MOS is, you will do some shit. Okay,
Yeah.
that part is normal. For a mission to go that badly wrong with support soldiers in the vicinity is not normal. Okay, that's the part that's not normal. Normally, it would be the Green Berets taking the brunt and the all the heavy stuff, and the support soldiers would be, either A, getting to safety, or B, already well away from where the actions are occurring.
Mm-hmm.
They were
Yeah, now
ambushed. They were
now we
ambushed, and so go ahead, John. Go ahead.
yeah now we have a comment here from Mrs. Myers, Mrs. Amber Myers. I never got to watch the video, but when my husband explained the video to me, it was very upsetting how the military handled the situation. I couldn't agree more. One thing that really stood out to me was one family got one story, another family got another story,
Absolutely.
and that's where you were going in saying earlier that they're trying to they have all these pieces of the puzzle, and but they're not put
That's right.
together.
That's right.
So and now one thing that really upset me too was that there was a lot of one family member was pretty much like talking down on how secrecy goes down in the military, but one thing that a lot of civilian people don't know is that there's a thing called OPSEC.
That's
And
correct.
OPSEC is a very important
It's
thing.
a real thing. It is a real thing, and it's not. When people see that the military doesn't always give all the information they have, it is not always because they're just trying to be secretive. Sometimes it is for good reason, and there are good reasons out there, and they do exist, and they come up every day. Why we don't share every last little tidbit of information with everybody out there. Okay, OPSEC is short for operational security. For anybody that doesn't know, if you have PERSEC, that's personal security. Okay, InfoSec is informational security, right? Like Army's really good at making these fucking little funny,
Yeah.
names with everything, right? But OPSEC is operational security. Anything that can impede operational security can be considered OPSEC. So we don't put it out there. That's it. So go ahead, John.
And and here's an example of someone breaking OPSEC. Just recently, there was a smartwatch application that a lot of special forces soldiers were using to track their running.
Right.
So when they were running, it was the secret bases. Yeah, exactly. OPSEC means shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And the bases were being shown through the smartwatches through satellite imagery
because of where they were running.
Into.
Yeah, because of the trails and the roads they were running. That's exactly correct.
On top of this,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Ahead. So on top of this, not only do you see where the bases are, but it gives you a direct outline of what the base is, what it looks like, how big it is, and it you had an experience with this.
Yes. Well, so on my last deployment, we were in Helmand Province, and we had a lot of us in the infantry and a lot of combat arms. It's not just infantry, but a lot of combat arms. When we're out in the field a lot, we use Garmin's. In theater, you're technically not supposed to use Garmin's because Garmin's don't just use GPS. GPS are satellites that are owned by the United States. That is GPS. Garmin's and some of the other, like your Fitbits and stuff, they run off of pretty much any positional satellite, which some of which are also owned by Russia, also owned by China. So if you have an application, or if you have, like, let's say a Garmin, and your Garmin is accessing Chinese and Russian satellites for positional data for where you are on the globe, okay, that information on some level can be relayed back to those host nations, right? Because they own the fucking satellites, right? Because they own the satellites. So now here's the thing, it was 2018. We're in Helmand Province. We'd been there for fucking a while. At that point, the war was almost fucking 2 decades old. We'd been there for a hot minute. So us using Garmin's, doing fucking, GDA patrols, just, ground defense area patrols, is not fucking the end of the world. However, if the situation on that deployment had ever become more kinetic, if we had been getting into more ticks than we did, if things were a little bit more, hairy, we would have had to fucking turn the goddamn Garmins off and just say fucking YOLO, because fucking, and that's why, for a lot of the younger Army soldiers, like, oh, well, how come we gotta learn land nav and all this other? It's like, motherfucker, because you can't always fucking depend on a fucking satellite, bro. Like, quit being fucking lazy and like, I don't like doing night land nav. I suck at land nav. It's because you don't fucking try hard enough, okay? It's because you're not fucking.
Yeah, so do lieutenants, but you don't hear them complaining.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. That's correct.
They're busy getting everybody lost.
I fell in love with land navigation when I went to selection the first time, and they gave you like a 40-hour block of instruction on land navigation. Up to that point in the Army, I had never done land navigation, but because those Green Berets and the cadre were such good teachers, when you're at selection, there's a thing called the STAR course, and it's this big, giant fucking land navigation course. I'm talking like miles by miles, okay? And there's like you only have to find 4 points, and you start at like 1 a.m. and index is at like 10. So you have like 9 hours to find 4 points, but those points are like miles apart from each other, literally miles apart. Like you crisscross a fucking map to get to these points, right? And I was able to pass. Excuse me. There's 8 points, and I think it takes 4 to pass, or something like that. But it's like,
yeah.
But they're literally miles apart. Like you have to move at a pace. I was able to pass the STAR course at selection the first time I ever went after never having done land navigation before, because they were good teachers, And you might not always be able to depend on fucking GPS, man. That's what a fucking compass, a goddamn protractor, and a fucking map are for, baby. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Now onto the plot twist, because we're at 33 minutes now. Onto the plot twist. First off, I just want to say Jeremiah Johnston is a fucking badass. They're all badasses, not taken away from what any of them did,
right.
at all. But Jeremiah Johnston was he reminded me of you. Like his sister said, I wanted to join the Army to legally kill people and blow shit up. That's fucking badass. So now we're getting into the plot twist. We know that the commander, that General Waldhauser said, was talking about the ISIS commander, and then they brought up that there was another hostage there that's been there for a couple years now, named Jeffrey Woodkey, and he decided to bring him up to say that was, I guess, like the operation. But then we find out that the Nigerian CIA was after the ISIS commander the whole time, and he dragged the Americans with them and led to the deaths of these 4
And there
heroes.
were quite possibly American CIA in that convoy. And there was quite possibly American CIA in that convoy. And that's where, when you asked me earlier, as a recently removed member of the Army, but like what were my initial thoughts, was like, yeah, they're covering something up, and they're shooting out a smoke screen so they can cover up what they don't want people to know. What they didn't want people to know is that we probably had our own CIA in that convoy, and that was like when the ambush occurred, this one truck got isolated, and it was like, that's where everything started going wrong, basically. But the fact that there was American CIA and Nigerian CIA in that convoy with nobody else's knowledge, like, of who they were, at least they knew that truck was in their convoy. They didn't exactly know who they were. That is also not uncommon on missions in theater. Okay, that's not uncommon. You will not always, unless you are a higher up or a higher echelon leader, you are not always going to know who is in the vehicles in the convoy that you're in. Okay, absolutely. You've got your vehicle, you've got your team, you've got your platoon, whatever. There might be another vehicle or another 2 or 3 vehicles, even depending on how big the convoy is, filled with people you have no clue who they are. You might not have ever seen them before in your life, but they're in your convoy. That's it. That's all you know. So that's coming from a more boots on the ground, enlisted perspective. But that is very true. It's very common. And so these people were in this convoy, like.
Yep.
Surprise.
Absolutely. And it seems like that the CIA has a lot more to do with this than what's being told. But my final thoughts on this is, why isn't Jeffrey Woodkey important enough to the U.S. government? That's one thing that kind of like really bothers me. Because as was so, he's not in any mission reports. He wasn't mentioned until the general pretty much said his name. What's going on with that? And I think that's
Well,
something that we should find out about soon. And
I think his name coming up in this entire thing again was kind of a misnomer because obviously the real mission was the ISIS commander. Jeffrey Woodkey was kind of a secondary hopeful mission if he possibly happened to be in the area.
yeah,
One thing that a lot of people don't realize is that there is a report that goes up, and I don't know if it's weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever. There is a report that goes up and it literally goes to the president every time, and it goes all the way up to the president, and it's one of the reviewable things that the presidents review, and that's every single American that is missing abroad, that is currently missing abroad at any given time. Some Americans are missing abroad because they disappeared or fell off of a bridge, drunk one night, and they just never came home. Some Americans are actively being held in bad places by bad people. Obviously, those names are probably going to get to the president's desk a lot more often, and a lot more frequently. But it is a thing. It is a report, and guys like Jeffrey, his name again, John. I'm sorry,
Jeffrey Woodkey.
Jeffrey Woodkey. He was kidnapped several years ago, and he is being held. He's being kept alive. Actually, he has been kept alive this entire time. He's a Christian aid worker. Go ahead. What you got, Dashawn?
No, yeah, no, I was just saying it was like 5 years. I think it's been 5 years now. They said
5 years.
like
Yeah.
Years at the end
So
of
yeah, he has been held. He's still being kept alive. I used to show my students at BLC a 60 minutes clip. It was about 15 minutes long, and it was about the Navy SEALs when they rescued Jessica Buchanan. There was a young lady who was also an aid worker in Africa. She was kidnapped by Boko Haram. And this is about 10-ish years ago. And she was held for a period of 2 or 3 months, I believe, before the Navy SEALs did an extremely risky extraction. And they landed and they inserted and they wiped out the group that was holding her and another person hostage. And they extracted both of those persons from Africa under the cover of darkness in the middle of the night. So don't think if you're ever outside the boundaries of the United States, and if you ever get kidnapped, understand that your country does not forget about you. Just because you might be held for months and months and days doesn't mean your country doesn't know where you are and doesn't love you. They just might not have the opportunity at the time to come get you. This gentleman, Jeffrey, has been unfortunately held for over 5 years, I think, at this point. So yeah.
Yep, and we'll see what happens with
Your
that.
Your country will never forget about you, though. Like the president of the fucking United States knows your name. Trust me. Like the president knows your name.
And hopefully that all gets sorted out. I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to do some deep diving research today. Next, have you played Halo yet, Dashawn?
I have not.
All right, so I mean,
will.
these next two reviews I have, there's not a lot to say about it, so they'll be pretty quick. But to get down to the meat and potatoes, Halo gets a 8.6.
Okay.
It looks visually great. This is a game. Now remember, when it was first shown, they delayed the game because it looked like shit.
Yeah.
So
They
did. So did they fix it then? I'm assuming
it looks beautiful.
Okay.
So I actually have footage that I'm going to show on the DD214 page later on today.
Okay.
It's footage of me playing with Chance and Marie and 9 other people. We had 11 people in the lobby going ham on Big Team Slayer. Let me tell you,
what was the name of your team again?
That's the name of the game. It's like Big Team Slayer. Yeah.
Aw. I was gonna be like fucking Slayer, but no, you fucking ruined it. Whatever.
So I mean, and I think an 8.6 is a great score for it. Replayability value off the charts.
What are you detracting points for? So that 1.4 that you didn't give the rest all the way through, like what?
So
what could be better?
More maps.
Okay.
More modes to play. Like, so if you remember from the old Halo games, we had like custom games like Griff Ball,
Oh yeah.
Shit like that. So Griffball's not in the game yet, but I assume it will be. That's one thing, and the one thing that a lot of people are disagreeing with me a lot, but I'm sorry, Halo needs a battle royal. I'm
I don't
it
disagree.
needs
I
to.
don't disagree with that. It's where gaming is going right now. Like I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
That's where it
Now,
seems.
I'm not gonna say you're. I know exactly who's arguing against that, and it's all the fucking purists. I'm not saying they're
yes.
wrong. I'm not saying they're wrong because I don't. I'm not a huge battle royal fan. You know that, John. I'm not a huge battle
Yeah.
royal fan, but
And
I'm not going to
this,
deny that. Like, if that's what everybody wants to fucking play,
yeah, and
let
I
them
have to
fucking play
say,
it, right?
the
Like,
game,
let them play it.
now I have a really funny thing that happened at the end of the clip that's going to be shown, but Marie was just like, "This shit sucks. I'm out of here." But for some people, it's very different gameplay. I mean, we're talking about different controls and shit like that. The weapons are vastly different than how you would use on a Call of Duty game or a Battlefield game. But it was fun and it looked really fucking good. So 8.6 is my final score for that. We'll
Do
check
they
this
still
back
have
again.
the needler gun?
So I haven't used any of the alien weapons because I'm
Mm.
so really into the human weapons that are in the game, like the Commando, which is like an M16 on crack,
Yeah.
and
That
it's
sounds right up my alley. That sounds
you
right
know,
up my
and,
alley.
but you could jump into this and you could have a good time with it. And Jay, for a guy that plays shooters, but you get pretty aggravated because not that you're pick and choosy, but
I'm very methodical
you're
when I
very
play.
yeah, you're very adamant about what you want in the game, and I think you would highly enjoy this. It's
I
very fun, and plus we can get 12 people in the fucking lobby. I mean, holy shit!
I get very, very, like you said, it's not being picky. It's that I'm very staunch about the things that I expect and I like in a video game. And if somebody else likes the game, like you'll never hear me talk shit about somebody else liking the game just because I don't like it. But it does take a certain element included in a game for me to really enjoy it and play the shit out of it. And honestly, like let's be real, like and to have fun. That's the whole point. So if I don't have fun, I don't play. You know what I mean? Like that's really what it comes down to. And I hope that some of these games like are start including more stuff, that we're used to. So, I don't
Yeah,
know.
and to answer this question here from Amber Myers, how is the vehicle? Is it better? It's much more easier to control now. The alien vehicles are much more fun to use, and they pack a goddamn punch. I mean, probably
Nice.
my best game. I had like 12 kills, and they were all from a vehicle. So, but yeah, 8.6 is the score. So, guys, it's free on the Game Pass. Go check it out today. Next is Battlefield 2042, and
I got to hear this. I got to hear this
so,
because before you say anything, like all I have heard, this is coming straight from the internet, right? Like, is just people talking shit. So, like,
okay, so
what is your actual like? What was your experience?
So first off, I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Okay.
Okay. And
I like how
I
you're coming
will
up with the score first this time because I want to hear this.
yeah, so 7.5 is the score for Battlefield 2042 for a number of reasons. So first off, we'll talk about we'll talk about the bad. The bad, I think there needs to be more game modes. More game modes. Another problem is that one specific game mode doesn't even work. It's called Breakthrough. You go into the game, it doesn't even fucking work. Like
Mm.
it doesn't turn on. It doesn't turn on. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but you're sitting there waiting for the game to start, and it just doesn't start.
Interesting.
That
does not
that
sound
is
good.
exactly. Glitching, there is some glitching, but we're not going to talk about glitching because that's always to be expected when the game first comes out. Battle Royal, does it need it? It doesn't need it. The game already feels like a Battle Royal game because of the scale of it.
Okay.
Would it help? I don't think it would help, but I think it would be another option to have. There's no like the
How many?
menu.
I'm sorry. How many people are in the server at one time?
that's part of the good, Joe. 64 for Xbox One, 128 for Xbox Series X,
Jesus
and
Christ.
for
Mm.
so next gen is 128. Uh,
Holy shit!
previous gen is 64. Yeah,
In
can you
one
imagine
server,
playing?
in one game, in one server at one time.
Yes,
That might
That
as well
sounds
be
chaotic.
that might as well be a fucking battle royal then.
yeah,
I mean, straight
and
up,
and
that might as well be a
so
battle royal.
yep. So now we get into the good of it. First off, I have to talk about this. The tornado. The weather systems that they have in this are fucking insane, man. And you can see it right here. So you're just playing in the game, you're just relaxing, and all of a sudden it starts raining, and you look behind you, and there's a tornado coming your way. So
That sounds fun. That sounds
so
fun.
so naturally, what do?
Get the
You
fuck
run,
away
bro.
from it.
No, you run towards it. You run
What?
towards it.
You
Okay.
see what happens.
You run towards it, and what does it do? It sucks you right up, and it throws you to the other side of the map. That could either be
Holy
a
shit.
disadvantage because you could be thrown to enemy territory, but
Interesting.
depending how much enemy is there, you may be able to get the flag. You hear what I'm saying here? You
Yeah.
hear what I'm
Oh,
saying here?
I get it now.
Ooh,
Yep, I get it
okay.
now. Yep, I get it
So
now.
you could use the tornado to your advantage. You know,
Interesting.
um, Joe, can you do me a favor?
Do you get
Can
killed? Do you get
go-
killed in the tornado by flying debris?
No,
Oh, that's
but
fucking.
it
See,
but
that-
you could
They
but
should have
you
added
could
like an
get
element of
killed.
chance with that shit. You know what I mean?
Yo,
Like,
the probability, yeah, that would have been
yeah,
cool.
like
Joe,
kind of like you're rolling the dice. Like you might get the flag, or you might get like nailed by like a helicopter flying around in there somewhere. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm about to pull a Joe Rogan right now. Joe, pull up that clip on DD214 Gaming of my suicide bombing. I
What?
probably shouldn't.
I can't wait to see this shit. I can't wait to fucking see this shit.
Okay. So before we get to that clip, so you're going into the tornado, so you could use the tornado to your advantage or your disadvantage. You could use it to go back to your team, or you could use it to take out some enemies. While you're in the tornado, you could actually shoot while you're moving around. So you're sitting there, you could actually snipe them while you're up there. Plus you could snipe people who are in the tornado. But Jay, to answer your question before, you can't get hit by debris, but you could get hit by a plane or a car or anything that's in the tornado. So
That's what I.
Joe,
Wait, stop. That's what I was asking.
I don't know.
That's flying debris.
I didn't consider that debris.
If you're in a tornado, the tornado's filled with flying debris. That's why people don't
Yes.
survive tornadoes in real life, because it's not the wind that fucks you up, and it's not the
That's
landing.
true.
It's not the landing if you get sucked up. It's the fucking
Yeah.
debris. Like you know, like you ever hear those like stories of like playing cards getting stuck into walls and shit. You know, like it's
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dashawn. I'm sorry.
I just want to know if you had to compensate for the rotation of the tornado when you were shooting.
Yeah, you do have to compensate. You have to pretty much, like, if you know that you're spinning in this thing, or
Yeah.
you're moving, you have to make sure, like, okay, I know this guy's moving to the left, so I got to shoot to the left.
Interesting.
Okay. So there's
so
that's pretty cool.
I wonder
Yeah,
what the
Jay-
I wonder what the wind physics in the game are like in the tornado. If it's like
it'll
they just
suck
kinda-
you up if you're running from it. It'll suck.
No,
you
I mean
up.
like with the bullets. I mean with the bullets, because when you talk about like bullet drop compensation, you know, like a lot of games today have started including bullet drop compensation in their mechanics, and bullet drop compensation is a real thing that you experience in real life when you shoot a gun, because gravity and speed and things like that, bullets drop, and
they do a very good job keeping it leveled like that. Joe, get that clip up.
Yeah, I got to see this.
yeah, I want to see this.
So over here,
You said this is a suicide mission?
yes. So I'm in the plane. It's a little grainy, but you see what's going on here, right? I'm
Yes.
flying in, so I see the enemy, and I'm like, "Fuck it, I'm going in, baby. I'm going in."
Fuck yeah.
Oh,
I
my-
jump out, baseball slide. I killed the two guys with the plane, and then
Nice.
there's another guy. There's another straggler over here that I took out. So
Fuck yeah,
I mean,
dude.
you could do shit like that in the game and have a good time, man.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that I'm very proud of that clip, especially the baseball slide that happened with it. But 7.5, guys. I mean, it's not a bad game. It's fun, but we need more. I mean, in Battlefield 4, I could play like team deathmatch type games. I don't have that option here, and
Okay.
I need a little more. I need a little more, but it's such a fantastic game. And one of the best features that they put into the game is that you could change your attachments during gameplay. Like if I'm getting shot at, if I just killed a guy who's 6 feet away from me, and I have a sniper up at the fucking wall coming at me, I could switch my attachment to my scope on the fly, and papa. So
Okay.
it does its job. Next on the list is and this is just real. This is just like real small news. Battlefield 3 is not happening, guys. It's not happening.
Wait,
We don't know.
whoa. You said Battlefield. You mean Battlefront?
Battlefront 3, yeah. Battlefront 3 is not happening as of right now. It doesn't look like it's ever going to happen. I don't know. I don't know. It's not happening.
I'm sorry. Oh, does that say EA? Does that say EA right there?
There we go, EA.
That's why it's not fucking happening, John. All right? It's fucking EA. It's not fucking happening because it's fucking EA, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
so
EA 's trash.
so
Yeah.
they're citing that they have nobody to work on the game. No developers. There's nobody that
Bullshit.
works for the company.
Or-
so it's like
Or let me change the scope of this. Or they don't have a fucking workplace conducive to an environment where people are willing to fucking like work on a fucking game like that. Like that's it. Like that's really the end of it right there. Like they do not
Yeah,
have a good operable fucking workplace right now. That's why Star Wars fans don't get another fucking badass Star Wars game. Just like when fucking Disney buys fucking Marvel, my fucking favorite show gets fucking taken off goddamn fucking Netflix, and there's never gonna be a fucking Punisher season 3. And I'm
Oh
fucking
my gosh,
mad-
that was good as fuck.
I'm still fucking mad about it, and I'm still not fucking letting it go. It's
oh my
because
god,
fucking-
Punisher was
it's
good.
because this fucking world is so fucking it's so bullshit how fucking much money talks and bullshit walks now. Because it's not the bullshit that's walking nowadays is not bullshit. You know,
Oh, wow.
we're literally missing out on like the best shows, the best movies, the best video games, the best products that enhance our lives and cause us to,
yeah.
be inspired and become better human beings, so that we can be like altruistic creatures, living on Mother Earth, for the duration of our very, very short, humdrum lives. This is why we don't have nice things, people, because fucking people in suits fucking decide for you fucking that you can't have fucking nice things.
Joe, is that today? Is that breaking news? It is.
Wow.
Star Wars Battlefront 3 pitch was rejected by EA due to licensing costs, and that they're working on a new Battlefield game.
Do you know why?
We just got a fucking Battlefield game on Friday.
Do you know why there's a problem with licensing costs? Do you know why? Who owns Star Wars? Who owns Star Wars?
Disney.
Thank you. Been talking shit for a fucking year and a half about fucking multinational, global, conglomerate fucking corporations.
Yeah.
The reason there's not going to be a fucking game is because fucking Disney's asking too much money to fucking use the characters from Star Wars. That's it. And EA don't want to fucking play ball. That's it.
Yeah.
Garbage is
It got turned down because it takes 20% more sales to make the same money, said one past developer.
Oh fucking no. If you fucking make a good game, it fucking sells itself. There's still Rockstar is still milking the tit of GTA 5.
Oh my
10
god!
years after they fucking released it. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean 20% more sales. What the fuck does that even mean? That's like some fucking corporate speak for fucking like I suck Satan's cock for money. You know what I mean? Like that's all that's fucking that screams that to me. Like sucking Satan's pecker.
So now the last
suck it.
Yep. So now
It's
the
only
last
your dignity,
breaking
suck it.
news.
I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry, dude.
Is it only a dick if you suck it though?
It's only your dignity, suck it. It's only your dignity. It's only your dignity, suck it.
That's going to be a soundbite for the next intro.
Okay, I want to clarify real quick. That is a bit from a comedian by the name of Bill Hicks. I totally ripped him off right there. So like that was not original Jay right there. That was That was Bill Hicks. Okay, so that was not original Jay. I ripped that bit off of a
You
dead
know,
comedian named Bill Hicks, but he's my favorite comedian. So
I know we should be talk about this shit real quick, but I have to say I was watching this comedian named Theo Vaughn,
yeah,
and he was talking about a story that when he was younger, he was at the movie theater, and some dude next to him was getting a hand job,
okay.
and that when the guy busted, it landed on his arm,
Oh hell
Oh
no!
and
motherfucker! Oh hell to
and
the fuck!
and
No.
he so that he said he goes,
Unprofessional.
oh shit,
Unprofessional.
That's a
he said
threesome.
oh
That's a
he
threesome.
said
Right?
he said
Thank you,
oh
Deshaun. Thank you, Dashawn.
he said oh shit, they got me, so he thought he was gay. This is the comedian Theo Vaughn was saying this. He was like, oh shit, they got me.
If I'm
That's
ever
an involuntary threesome right there.
let me tell you something right now. If I'm ever sitting in a movie theater and I see a gentleman or a lady getting their thing going, right? Like in the seat next to me, I'm gonna mind my own fucking business. I'm gonna watch the movie.
Yeah.
But motherfucker, if you spray me with bodily fluids in the process of that, there is gonna be a fucking fist fight in a fucking dark ass movie theater, and I've lived most of my life in the goddamn dark. You're losing real quick.
But okay,
The
but you
minute
know
I get hit with any
that's an
bodily fluids,
opportunity.
okay?
That's an opportunity to play a game, to close your eyes and figure out how many guys you're fighting at the same time.
Guys and gals, dude. I'm including the ladies in this. I'm including the ladies in this. If you hit me with your bodily fluids, dude, like you're getting it too. Okay, like we got equal rights.
Christ.
We got equal rights and we got equal lefts for that shit. Okay, like I ain't fucking around. You hit me with some fucking bodily fluids, dude. Like I'm swinging. That's it. Like fair warning. I'm swinging. Okay.
Well, you're going to be You're going to be swinging at this next subject because we need to
Here we
talk about.
fucking go.
This is
Are
the
you trying to round
final.
me up? Are you trying to
So
round me
this
up?
is the final thing we're talking about before we get to the meat and potatoes with Dashawn. Dude, I'm sorry, we just fucking talk.
That's what we do. It's the whole point.
But the game awards are happening again.
Sweet.
For the sixth time, and Joe, pull up that
Dude, are we
right
gonna do another co-stream? Can we do another co-stream?
Do you really want to?
Oh fuck yeah, dude! Dude, all we did last year was talk, drink and talk shit. That's like my fucking bread and butter. That's
So
like my
Yeah,
bread
that
and
was
butter.
pretty cool. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that episode. That was
so
pretty
you
cool.
know
Did you
so
really?
December 9th, guys, make sure you're here on DD214 to watch us do the thing. In saying that, Joe, right today we're only going to talk about Game of the Year, and next week we'll break down the other ones. But Game of the Year nominations, click that shit.
What do we got? Read it off to me, John, because I can't see as well. I'm sorry.
So Resident Evil Village, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Psychonauts 2, Metroid Dread, which was a 2D platformer game, It Takes Two, and Deathloop. The only two games that I think even catch it are going to be Deathloop and It Takes Two. And if you ask me, I think It Takes Two is a very good game. It's a two-player game where you need to depend on your partner to complete the activities and the objectives. But in saying that, games just released this week, like Forza Horizon 5, are nominated for something else. But we had other games like Battlefield that just came out, Halo, which is fully about to come out. Why aren't these games not being nominated? Where the fuck is Call of Duty at? Where the fuck is Marvel Avengers at?
Okay.
Will those count for next year? I mean, Vanguard just came out, and I think Call of Duty, if this is the Game Awards, Call of Duty, Battlefield should all be in it. Q4 now.
Yeah, we're in. Yeah, well, no. No, depending on when the fiscal year ends, we're in Q1 right now. Depending on when the fiscal year ends. In the army,
no shit.
in the army,
Q4 is in October.
In the army, Q4 fucking ends on September 30th fucking of the year, and Q1 starts on fucking October 1.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
So, here, okay, I got a question, and this is me heavily falling back on my extreme casual gaming lifestyle, brother. I haven't heard of any of those games except fucking Resident Evil. Haven't even heard of them. I haven't heard fucking hide nor hair. Haven't seen anything in the fucking news. Haven't seen anything blowing up. Like, what are all those games, dude? Like, I've literally only heard of Resident Evil, and only because it was Resident Evil. I have literally not heard of any of those games. How are they all fucking? I didn't even know they were released. Like,
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Metroid is
Like,
an old series game that never really caught my attention. It
I mean,
Takes
I
Two
beat
was
it.
actually a
I
really
mean-
good game.
I beat Metroid in like 1988 on the fucking Nintendo.
Yeah,
Like,
I haven't
there you
gotten
go.
into Metroid. I haven't gotten into Metroid since I was younger.
No,
But
not even
I know
close.
for sure that that It Takes Two is a really good game that I play with my wife, and it has a good storyline. There's some fucked up shit in there, but
Yeah,
it has a really
the
good storyline.
story. I think the story is about like two parents who are splitting up, and that the characters that you play as are working together to keep their marriage together.
Yes, so
It's a
it has a really good
very
storyline.
emotional game. Yeah,
Yeah. My brother, he's talked about Psychonauts and said this has a very trippy storyline, more of a cerebral type thinking process when you play that game. But I wouldn't see it as one of the nominations. You know,
yeah. I don't know. It's very weird because I feel like some games should be on there. I saw 12 minutes in one of the nominations. Forza Horizon 5 is in there. I don't understand why some games are on there and why some aren't. I mean, especially Call of Duty, which came out just a couple weeks ago, just in time to be at the award show.
Is it game of the year or game? Is it worthy of any awards though? Is Vanguard worthy of anything?
Not in my opinion, but I
Oh,
mean,
well, I mean that could be. I mean there have not been. I think the real thing we're getting at, like all three of us, we're like all approaching the light bulb. We're just approaching it from different directions. All I'm
Yeah.
hearing right now about the Game of the Year awards is that these AAA fucking release games, dude,
subpar,
for the last year have been completely like gamers are not responding to this shit, dude.
subpar.
This is
subpar.
garbage as fuck, dude. This has been the fucking like the worst fucking like last couple years. They literally took the best Call of Duty game that has come out probably in a decade, and they tanked it just so they could release the fucking next one the next year. They didn't just tank it, they intentionally tanked it because they knew it was that much better, but they still had a release to do the next year. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about companies not giving a fuck. Like, they don't give a fuck about the gamer. They just give a fuck about the money. And it's what, like, I don't even, dude, I can't wait. I can't wait to fucking co-stream this shit. I'm just gonna get drunk that night and talk shit the whole time. Fuck these cocksuckers, dude. Like, straight up, fuck these cocksuckers. They're really being some fucking pricks about this shit. You're like what are any of those fucking games? I'm not saying all those games are bad because I literally haven't played a single one of them. Okay, I'm not saying that, but Jesus fucking Christ, like, whose fucking dick do I gotta suck to even have a fucking clue as a casual gamer what's going on in the gaming world nowadays when like every single title minus one is nominated for Game of the Year and I've only heard of one of them, and only because it's part of a major fucking franchise. Like, what is somebody tell me what I'm doing wrong here as a casual gamer, because I have no fucking clue what any of this shit's about. I didn't even hear, never heard about Metroid. And I know Metroid, obviously, but I never heard about Metroid. It Takes Two.
Deathloop is another one I'm not familiar with.
It Takes Two sounds kind of like a fun game. That sounds like a game I could play. Like, no shit.
It's made
But I
by the
never heard
same
of it.
guys who made A Way Out, a game that
Yeah,
I've been
but
trying to get you to play for a while.
But I never heard of it. I like there's no promotion from the powers that be, from the tippy top of these gaming companies that create these games. There's no fucking promotion. I never heard of that game is my point. It's nominated.
Yeah.
That's how I fucking found Ghost of Tsushima last year, John. Remember? It was because we
That's
fucking
right.
streamed and they kept fucking talking about Ghost of Tsushima, and I was like, shit, that looks like a game I could play. And that's how I fucking heard about it. Why am I only hearing about the game at the goddamn Game of the Year awards and not fucking now, 6 months ago, whenever the fucking games came out? what the fuck
Yeah.
is actually going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
and now my last thought on this is that I hope it's better than the E3 awards because we all know what a fucking shit show that was. So
Oh my goodness.
that's why we didn't even fucking bother fucking co-streaming that bullshit.
that shit, and I'm glad we didn't. That shit was terrible, terrible. Anyways,
It's terrible, Charles Barkley. It's terrible.
we're here. We got here. We're over here making Dashawn's ear bleed.
You fucking hey, dude.
No, man.
Dude, I don't know how people put up with me.
I tune in because of this. All this stuff needs to be talked about.
I don't know how my girlfriend puts up with me, dude. Like, because I don't. She is a saint. She is a saint. She's a holy saint and an angel among women because she puts up with me. I don't know how she does it, but yeah, I want to hear more about Dashawn though. I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Joe, put that shit up, and Dashawn, talk to us about the Paleo giant, man.
Oh, what's this? What is this?
Oh, so this is my Instagram page, and I started off as the Paleo. I started to do the Paleo giant thing because of a situation after I got out of the military. I kind of lost who I was because I didn't get out like really voluntarily, but
Right.
I went into a deep depression, and and I went to gaming, of course, which was the best part of it. But after I was eating like really bad things, just because of depression, I was eating really bad stuff, not making a conscious choice constantly to eat healthy. And after a while, I went to the VA and I found out I had a heart disease. I had a heart disease called Wolff Parkinson's White, and they told me that if I tried to exercise or anything, I would most likely have a heart attack at like 22.
What?
Yeah. So I got heart surgery, and soon after my heart surgery, I went back to work, and I met a guy, and he talked to me about how he was on the paleo diet and explained the whole thing to me. I was like, that sounds pretty interesting. And he showed me that there's a possibility that like you really should just sit there and look at the ingredients that you're putting into your body. Whenever you go shopping, you should be looking at the ingredients list on the back of
Okay.
your food when you're purchasing it.
But how do you understand what some of those ingredients are? Like, I don't know what the fuck like flanzipated gelatinous, whatever the fuck is, like when they like make up these fucking giant words and I'm like reading the ingredients, I'm like, okay, it looks like food. I'm just gonna fucking eat it, right?
Yeah, so a lot of times you're gonna be looking when you go to the store. When you look at the ingredients, you're gonna look for the shorter list of ingredients that you can. That means it's in the most purest form. Like for example, if anybody or we know that cane sugar or regular sugar only
Yes.
has one ingredient on the back of the bag.
That's correct. That's there's Coca-Cola you can buy from like Mexico, like imported from Mexico, and on the back it does not say high fructose corn syrup. It says
Exactly.
sugar. It literally says fucking sugar. By the way, I highly recommend if you get Mexican Coca-Cola, buy it out of the glass bottle. If you want to taste what real Coca-Cola tastes like, it is Mexican Coca-Cola from a bottle. There you go. Go ahead. Please continue, Dashawn.
So the paleo diet or paleo lifestyle is more it's along the lines of eating what they ate in the Paleolithic era, which is meats, fish, nuts, fruits, and vegetables, and staying away from like grains and sugars and dairy, because a lot of people have gluten allergies and lactose intolerant and stuff like that. So it's kind of staying on in the lines of eating clean as much as possible. Yeah,
Can you break down? Can you break down eating clean for me? Like, what exactly does eating clean mean? Like, I hear Joe Rogan talk about this shit. Can you break it down to a grunt, Barney style? Like, what is eating clean? What does that mean?
To me, it's like when you pick up like let's say chicken, because that's something that everybody likes to eat.
Yep.
So when you look at the chicken, you want to try to look for something that is like pasture raised or grass fed or whatever type of chicken or beef.
Okay.
If it doesn't have any of that on the label, that means they more than likely have it inside of a small cage, and they're feeding it grains and whatever they can eat. You know what I'm saying? To make them fat just for production and for
Right.
profit.
Right.
And in turn, when you eat them, you know what I'm saying, you eat what they ate.
That's correct. Right. Right. I feel bad.
So
I feel bad for the guy that cannibalizes my dead body. That's all I'm saying. I feel bad. First,
yeah.
first, that dude's gonna get fucking high as fuck, from all the shit that I did back in the day. Then that motherfucker is probably gonna get some like debilitating freaking wasting disease because he just can't fucking handle the shit that I've eaten in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, and survived.
Yeah. And Joe asked, I'm not sure about the Mediterranean diet. It's close to if anyone has ever heard about the keto diet, it's just like the keto diet, but without the dairy, without any dairy. But there is two versions of being paleo, which is the paleo strict diet where you just don't eat dairy at all, and then the paleo primal diet where you can have dairy, but you do it in very small amounts. So you
Correct.
get
Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, human beings as a species did not start ingesting dairy on a regular basis until it's been fairly recent in human history, right? Like last couple thousand years.
absolutely yes,
Like we
that is
did not we
absolutely
did not
true.
normally ingest dairy into
And
adulthood until relatively recent on the evolutionary scale. Is that correct?
that's absolutely correct.
And is that
People
is that
when we
kind of where
started
paleo
to
starts? Is that kind of where
yeah
paleo starts? Is like kind of behind that
before
in
that
history?
yeah
In
yeah
history? Okay. Okay.
yeah because
Yeah,
you're
What
talking
so
about when they became more agricultural wise and not moving around to hunt and
correct.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Tell me what you can eat. This is where you're gonna sell me. So tell me what you can eat. Tell me
What I
what you are
can't eat?
allowed to eat. Tell me what you're
Well,
allowed to eat.
all types. Okay, so we can go from you can eat pork, you can eat beef, which is cow, of course. We can eat bison, ostrich, all types of meat, all types of fish. We can eat all types of fruits, vegetables, but most people, yeah, proteins, of course, but most people confuse corn as a vegetable, which is not. It is actually a grain.
Corn is a grain.
Corn is
Yes, that
yeah.
is correct. That is correct.
So we can't eat on the diet. You cannot eat grains, but
So you don't
it's
eat
all,
tortillas? You don't eat corn tortillas?
no, I
Or do you
can't
eat
have
wheat?
any corn. I can make a tortilla that is not made from corn.
Is it made
It
out of
tastes.
wheat? What's it made out of?
It's made out of cassava, which is a root vegetable, close to a resemblance of a potato. It's actually really good.
Maybe I should have asked you what you can't eat. Because
Yeah. So what you can't eat is, of course, I said dairy. So any dairy products, like one thing that hurts me the most is probably the ice cream. I love ice cream, but you can't have dairy ice cream. You can't have butter,
can you have like
cheeses.
a custard?
No, not no custard.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's because a lot of like on a diet, you could do it if you're primal, if you're paleo primal, but if you're strictly paleo, then you can't have
well,
it.
what is the difference between paleo primal and like my regular fucking diet? Because like I didn't hear shit that you said I couldn't eat. Honestly, like I pretty much just eat meat and fucking really whatever the fuck I feel like in the moment, but I don't eat a lot. So like
So
the fact that I don't eat a lot is the only thing that saves me really from getting ginormous probably. But what can I not like what am I eating now that I would have to cut out? Like you said corn, I got the corn part.
Chips.
Chips would probably be
yeah,
part of that.
chips. Have you had any
Ramen?
potatoes?
Can you have ramen?
You can't have ramen.
Man, what
No.
the fuck? Man, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
but you can't. There's different. I'm
He had a,
actually on
he
my
had a, he had a
page.
pizza on here. He had a pizza.
I made a pizza. Yeah, and
He
it
made
was
a
actually really good. Yeah.
he did make it himself.
Yeah. What was your okay? What was your favorite meal to make, or your top three?
Oh man.
Oh, oh, your wife
Oh,
also says that there is a cashew ice cream that is good.
yeah, I'm actually making. I have a whole meal that I'm making for Thanksgiving this week. So a
Shut the
paleo
fuck
meal.
up. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm making a whole
Bro, break
meal.
it down. No, I want to hear this shit. Dude, Thanksgiving is like my favorite fucking holiday. I want to fucking hear this shit. Because I'm about to eat like a fucking slob in like
So
4 days. And I want to hear what you're doing. Because like if you're gonna go like this balls out, I'm like, I want to hear this, dude. Like I really
it's
do.
not gonna be a big meal because not a lot of my family here eats like that. But I'm gonna make, of course, instead of making a huge turkey, I'm gonna make a roasted chicken,
Okay.
and I'm
Okay.
gonna season that, of course. And then I'm gonna
Okay.
have a paleo peach cobbler using like coconut sugar instead of regular refined sugar. Making a
Interesting.
cashew ice cream.
What is the difference? What
Um,
is the difference between refined sugar and, let's say, coconut sugar? What do they do? What do they do when they refine sugar that makes it unhealthy?
well, if you look at raw sugar, you will see that raw sugar is normally a darker color when it is
It's brown.
when
Yeah, it's
it's
a
brown.
brownish color. Yeah, yeah.
So to make it more palatable, I guess for people to eat, they normally, I believe, they bleach the sugar, not necessarily
White,
bleach it with
white.
actual bleach, whiten it. Yeah,
Oh, they got to make it more white,
yeah, they make it more
and
white
that makes it
so
more
that people.
palatable. So more white is
Yeah.
more palatable. That sounds like some subconscious bullshit. That sounds like
Yo,
some
how
subconscious fucking
white?
bullshit.
Yo, are they trying to make it so white they're trying to give it privilege? What's going on
I,
here?
I guess so.
Motherfucker,
'Cause people,
motherfucker, I'm about to eat brown sugar for the rest of my motherfucking life. All right. Are you telling me the only reason sugar is fucking white is because they bleach it? And
it's
because
white
that
sugar.
makes it more because it makes it more palatable? Like, are you fucking kidding me?
It's just
That's the
people-
reason my sugar's been white my whole life. God
yeah,
damn. God damn.
yeah, it's crazy. But
Say
yeah,
coconut sugar tastes just like brown sugar. Now that sounds interesting.
it
That
really
sounds very
does.
interesting.
It really does. It had because coconut sugar. I mean, brown sugar is white sugar with molasses added to it to give it that darker color.
Oh, wow.
Now, coconut
Okay.
sugar is naturally brown. It has a molasses flavor to it. So whenever I do it, make a desserts or whatever, I use coconut sugar if I want that deep, rich flavor.
Dashawn likes it deep. He likes it deep. He bottoms out. Dashawn
Oh
Myers
yeah.
Shit.
bottoms
God damn it.
out.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to the zoo, my friend. Welcome to the... Oh, Jesus Christ, Joe.
Joe said bottoms up.
So Joe did it. He did it.
It does count. That counts. Yeah.
That counts. That counts, Joe. I can't believe it. Now one thing I do want to say is that I'm going to press it because I'm so intrigued by this because as a 92 golf we were always taught that food must always be visually appealing, and I can't believe. I mean, actually, I could believe it because you were always a squared away soldier. How organized and how visually appealing your food is. I mean, the photos themselves are spectacular, and I mean, I personally would not eat half the stuff that is here only because my personal diet consists of T-bone steaks and pizza and Dunkaroos. But I just like, yeah, Joe. I just don't eat greens. I just don't eat greens.
I
I
can
just
guarantee
don't.
you. I can guarantee you. I can make something that you would definitely enjoy.
Yeah,
Like,
you make
have you ever had roasted broccoli before?
I
Yeah, I
don't like
love
broccoli.
Yeah, I love broccoli. I love. You know what I like? I like broccoli that's been like steamed broccoli, where it's got all the
Yeah.
fucking water inside. Basically, like it collects that water inside somehow.
Yeah.
Man, like
Yes.
If I could offer some advice on roasting anything, go to Pampered Chef and get the stones. Get some roasting stones. I'm telling you, it has upped my cooking game 1,000-fold because I'm not a good cook.
Joe, what is a roasting stone? I've never even fucking heard of
Give
that.
me a
dude.
second. I'll pull it up here in a minute.
Okay. I was gonna say, I was like, I've never even
fucking
fucking heard of that.
Pull this thing down. I don't know what I'm
So
having trouble with
Amber
the
says
clipboard.
paleo pizza with the cauliflower. Now I seen the cauliflower pizzas at my job, and I mean I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, like, again, I just don't eat anything that was grown naturally. I just don't. But
Man, what the fuck, John? What in the fuck, John? You get hurricanes. You get hurricanes like regularly where you live right now. What in the fuck are you gonna eat if shit just got wiped out? What are you gonna eat, man?
I'm gonna search the world for cans, bro.
Cans go bad, right? Cans go bad, right? Like
can.
all those all those movies where like they stumble across like somebody's bunker that like died like years ago, but it's like stocked with food, and it's like the game
I'm gonna have to
changing
get
moment.
that, Joe.
It's like
This
the
is what I'm talking
game-changing
about.
moment in the movie where like they've been starving and they find somebody's like canned food stash, in the movie. Here's the part they don't show you in the movies. Canned food has an expiration date. It has an expiration, just like MREs. It's a fucking myth, dude. Like canned food does not last that long. It'll last you a couple years, sure. But after those couple years go by, dude, you're gonna be eating like a gelatinous, disgusting slop that will make you fucking sick. Like sick to death. You're basically gonna be eating poison after that. Like John, look at that. Look at what Dashawn made.
I know. And I also I
Do
just
that.
I have to say this. I have to reply to Amber because what she just said is out of experience because I've worked for several food places after I finished my time in the army. She says you have to know how to make it like Dashawn because even some in the start aren't completely paleo. I used to work for a vegan muffin factory,
Mhm.
and they would, a lot of the stuff in there, they were cheating. They were
How are
cheating
they
on a lot of
cheating?
the stuff.
How are they
Wow.
cheating?
They were putting, stuff that was not supposed to be in there. So we had a veggie bacon thing, and they said that the bacon was made out of plants, but it really wasn't.
Wow.
It really
And
wasn't. They were making
Wow.
they were making the bacon in the factory, like.
That's
And then
intense,
it's fun,
bro.
and
That's
and
intense, bro.
and then what's even more intense is that at work now, when I walk past the product every single day at work, and I look
Dude,
at it, and
dude, they could get sued for that. Like somebody could have like allergies. You know what I mean?
He said
Like,
vegan
yeah,
food is a lie.
yeah, but you see
like
where I'm going at. But you see where I'm going at because she's completely right. Because a lot of these companies, they will, they always add a little, they always add a little in there.
Mhm.
They're like you could always add, but you could never take away, right?
I'm just
And
Yeah.
I'm just seeing a running theme throughout this entire show that you just cannot trust multinational corporate conglomerates. Like that's
Yeah,
the
I
only
think
theme
she
I've
was
seen the whole fucking time. Like
I think she was talking about the when you mentioned the cauliflower pizza, the crust, I believe, or the pizza or the crust.
yeah,
A lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
times they'll say it's like paleo, but if you read it, it has rice in it, and rice is a grain, of course. And you can't have that if you're paleo. If you strictly
Is
paleo,
that
you
your
can't.
paleo pizza right
so
there?
That that is my paleo pizza. I made that crust by hand,
okay,
and I used
so
cassava and almond flour.
Deshaun, I'm a huge fan of grains. So convince me, like, what do I eat if I can't eat rice? Like everybody loves chicken and rice, and like lifting when you're like,
Cauliflower rice.
what is
Cauliflower
cauliflower
rice.
rice? What is that?
It is right is cauliflower that is chopped up enough to look like small grains of rice. I just made for my friends down here in Georgia. I
Uh
just
huh.
made them cauliflower shrimp fried rice and
What they
General
say?
So chicken, and
What
they
they say?
loved it. They love it. It's one of my favorite meals. I know y'all asked before. It's one of my favorite meals to make because it's quick and easy. It
Deshaun,
tastes amazing.
are you like a recipe Nazi, or like are you willing to share some of these recipes, or like what's up with all that?
Yeah, for my most recent post on Instagram, I do have my recipes on there. I have a video. I have videos also showing, and this is my if you look right there, is my
Oh, look at
paleo
that.
creamy chicken bacon pasta that I made, and I have a recipe for all of that stuff
Okay,
in the
I'm just
video
curious,
on the.
man, because I'm not gonna lie, like as far as like aesthetics are concerned, like that shit looks fucking delicious. It looks fucking
Yeah,
delicious. It looks like something I could eat. It looks like something my fucking kids would eat. And you wouldn't be able to tell the difference fucking one way or the other because our palates, as strong as our palates are, they ain't that fucking strong. You ain't gonna tell the difference between fucking cauliflower rice and regular rice, or if something tastes, if something has like a sweet taste, you're not gonna know if it was fucking refined sugar or brown sugar. Really,
Bro,
yeah.
your
it's
wife
a
said she's the grain master, bro.
Oh yeah, she loves pasta. She loves
ladies,
pasta.
ladies and gentlemen. Amber Myers is the grain fucking master. We don't fuck with her on that shit. All right.
Yeah.
So just let it be known, we ain't fucking with Amber Myers on grains. All right.
Yo,
Just stay away. Just stay
I
away.
respect it, man, because I love rice, bro. I love rice.
Stay away.
I do got to try that stuff
Cauliflower
because I
rice.
see they're turning cauliflower to anything now, bro.
Yeah, they
I
do.
mean, if it works, if it's healthier, if it works,
You're eating.
I mean,
You're essentially you're just eating a vegetable that tastes. I mean, it can literally take place of rice. You can't it won't completely take the place of rice. You can't get over the taste of rice, of course, but it's a really good healthy substitute because you're getting another vegetable in your body that you normally wouldn't.
right, right.
Dashawn, if I'm looking at this pasta you made here, is it possible to use a substitute for the almond flour by chance?
Oh yeah, yeah. The almond flour really does have a very distinct taste. I use almond flour. Oh, I use cassava flour and what's it called? Coconut flour. Cassava flour, a mixture of cassava flour and coconut flour. Which, cause I told you before
Okay.
that cassava is a root vegetable. You can take it and make
Right.
it, and you can make this pasta. I actually gotten better at making the pasta. So, and I got more tools at my disposal to make better pasta.
Awesome, because just for our peeps out there who might have nut allergies or tree nut allergies and
Oh
stuff like
yeah.
that. Yeah, I didn't know if there was a substitute. That's awesome.
There's definitely a way you can always substitute something else in for the to make these pizza the pasta or breads.
Tapioca pudding. I haven't seen or heard of tapioca pudding since I was a kid, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was one of the few kids on my block that actually liked tapioca pudding. This is like way back in the day in Arizona. I saw your
By the way,
go ahead.
no, keep going. My bad.
No, you're fine. I was just saying I saw Deshaun's wife
I was
mentioned tapioca. That's why I said that. So
I was thinking out loud.
oh, she's talking about the flour. Okay.
Yeah, tapioca
Okay.
flour. She loves that stuff. She loves when I cook with it. She loves my
Okay.
dogs.
Okay. Yeah, I was one of those like psycho kids who like actually enjoyed tapioca pudding back in the day. And like if you're not familiar with tapioca pudding, it's not for everybody, basically. Like that's all I can say. Is like it's an acquired taste, and if you like the taste, you like it, and if you don't, you don't. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so kind of like key lime pie. You know?
We're gonna have to get a DD214 gaming cooking show with Dashawn Myers up in here.
Hey man,
I'll
hey
definitely
man.
do it.
I'm all about expansion, baby. You know, like we're talking about, putting out quality products that people can enjoy. You know, like why
I have
not
a
expand?
couple. I have a couple recipes you can use while you can eat while gaming, and it wouldn't mess up your controller or
Shut
you
the
know.
fuck up.
Yeah, I got a couple
You
things.
need to fucking do like a whole outline on this shit, bro. Like you do like a whole outline on this. Like, how do you
Yeah.
game without like fucking your controller up in the middle of the game, right? And eat.
Well, you can do chicken tenders and stuff. I can make chicken tenders, and you can have a sauce or whatever, so you don't, put your hands in the sauce. You know,
Where do you live?
I got a couple.
Where do you live in
recipes.
Georgia right now?
I don't live in Georgia. I came down to visit my family here for Thanksgiving.
Oh, my
I live-
apologies. Okay, my apologies.
Yeah, I live in Texas.
Whereabouts in Texas? Just out of curiosity.
I'm on the border in Tenaha, Texas. I'm on the border of Tenaha and border of Texas and Louisiana. If you know where
Okay.
Shreveport,
Yes, I do.
Louisiana
Yes,
is.
I do. I was in
Yeah.
your area about 2 years ago. So
Yeah.
so
So
yeah. Have you ever been to but you spent time in where are you at in Georgia right now? Just out of curiosity.
I'm in Kings Bay, Georgia. You know where Kings Bay is? A naval base down here. Kings Bay, Georgia. It's
Are
the
you
very
down by
last
the Gulf?
exit.
Are you down by the
Next-
coast?
Yeah, I'm on the coast. Very last
Oh.
exit before you get to Jacksonville, Florida, where Florida man lives.
Oh shit! You're like on the border. You're like on
the Florida man
you're
lives.
like okay. You're in the you're basically in the panhandle then. You're in the
Yeah,
panhandle.
yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
Okay.
That's crazy because I'm thinking about like me driving from Fort Benning to Destin, and
Yeah.
like I'm thinking like, damn, that's about like right there too. Like, oh shit.
Have you?
Yeah.
Hey, Dashawn, have you ever been to the National Infantry Museum?
Yes, I have in Fort Benning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What'd you think about it? What'd you
I
think? about it?
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. They have They have a restaurant on the second floor, correct?
Yes, they do. Yes, they
Yeah,
do. Yes, they do.
I did enjoy it.
Delicious.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
So
I haven't been there in years, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, before we unfortunately close this out, I just got a couple words and some final thoughts about today's episode. First off, I want to say thank you for coming on, man.
It was nice being here.
This has truly been like a long time coming. You and your wife, have been big supporters, and it's really nice to see. And first of all, you know, like I was saying before the show, the story that you guys have is so it's so awesome. You know, a true like military love
Why did
story. If
why did we not talk about this during the fucking show? I would love to hear a military love story. God damn it!
let's hear it. Let's hear it real quick. Let's
Yeah,
hear it real
let's
quick
hear it.
before we
Hey,
end
what's
it.
up, Ben Davies? We still love you, bro. Like, don't worry, we'll get there, homie. We'll get there. We will get there.
You know, I'm going to write to you today, Ben. Expect the DM.
Sean, I want to hear about this. I want to hear about you and your old lady, man.
It's nothing crazy. It's just like when I was the boss representative for the single soldiers, of course. And while I was in the field, she came to the unit, and I found out that from a lot of people saying like, "Oh, there's a girl that just came to the unit that's trying to take your job as a boss rep." I'm like, she can't take my job as a boss rep while I'm out in the field. I gotta go talk to her, like let her know that she can't take my job. So when I got back from the field, I talked to her and I was like, "Look, you can't take my job, but we can be partners." But after a while, I was like, "Yo, she's actually kind of cute. Let me see what's going on with this."
After a while, was
yeah,
it a
after a
while,
while-
Deshaun? Was it a while, Deshaun? Was it a while, or was it like the first time you saw her, you're like,
yeah, it was almost immediate. Yeah, it was almost immediate.
yeah. You ain't
All
got
she
a
had
lot
to
of
do was smile at me once, and it was over. Yeah,
yeah, you ain't got a lot of kick it on here, Deshaun. All right, I'll tell you out real quick. Like, no,
Yeah.
So what happened after that? Tell me what happened after that.
So after a while, after she smiled at me the first time, it was over for
Jesus
me. And
Christ,
then
Joe.
walking sharp and fit. No, she thought
God
I was
damn
she
it,
thought I was an
Joe.
NCO. She thought I was an NCO, so she kind of like didn't like try to talk to me at first because she thought I was an NCO because the way I carried myself while I was in. So she thought I was NCO, but I let her know like no, I'm a specialist or whatever. And we talked after a while, and I asked her on a date. We went on a date, and I think about I want to say 6 to 8 months later. Oh no, I'm not gonna tell them about the basketballs. So 6 to 8 months later,
Where was
I
your first
proposed to.
date? Where was your first date?
The first date was at, I believe the first date was at a Mexican restaurant on Veterans Parkway in Columbus, Georgia. I can't
Okay.
remember the exact name. It was a Mexican restaurant, and she loved Mexican food because she's from Texas. So it was a Mexican restaurant.
She says IHOP. I believe her.
IHOP.
Yo, cheap ass.
No, that's right.
Yo,
She's
cheap
right.
ass.
She's right. It was
Yo,
IHOP.
cheap
It was
ass.
IHOP.
IHOP. Yeah. You weren't too
It was
sure yet,
IHOP.
were you? Yeah, you weren't too
It was
sure yet, were
IHOP.
you?
Yeah, it was IHOP. So we okay.
Mhm.
That's when I actually fell in love with her.
Damn it,
Because-
Joe.
Already fucking up.
Yeah, it was
up.
IHOP. I fell in love with her at IHOP because she was the first girl that argued with me, had gotten an argument with me about who's gonna pay for the bill.
Oh no shit! Did she really?
Yeah, she argued with me. I was like, "Yeah, I'll ask you out on a date. I'm gonna pay for it." And she argued with me the whole like.
She asked you on a date. She asked you on a date.
I asked her on a date, but she wanted to pay
Okay.
for her food, and I was like,
Oh,
"No."
I see. Okay.
'Cause I'm- Yeah, but we argued for 10 minutes. I eventually paid after like laying down the hammer, but still, that was something that I found was a
where's
really
the- where's
good quality.
Hey, Deshaun, where's the hammer now? Is it in her purse? Is it in her
Yeah,
purse?
it's back
in
in
the
it's back in Texas on the shelf on the top shelf in the back.
I love you so much, dude. You're a smart man. You're a smart man. You're a smart man.
At home.
I love you so much. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
but yeah, I've been in love with her. I've been in love with her ever since.
Ben Davies, man. Like, I love you, bro. But it's a little bit different across the pond, homie. Like, there's social customs and courtesies that occur in the good old U.S. of A. That it's a little bit different now. Like it still ain't like that here, homie. It still ain't like that here.
Listen, I don't know.
still
I
like
think
that
I think after 5 years, it's not 50-50 anymore. It's the same bank account.
I'm
Yeah,
telling you,
yeah,
homie,
yeah,
I'm telling you, man. Like,
I agree.
I'm fully in support of mutual everything and blah blah blah. But as far as like dating, when you're still dating and you're not officially a thing yet or whatever, and sometimes even to an extent after you become a thing, the culturally the correct thing to do in the United States is man pays, and it's still In 2021, it's still kind of like that. And I don't want to get anybody upset about that statement, but I'm just saying, like,
unless you're a
let's
fuck boy. Fuck boys always let
call
their
call
always
a
let their
spade
ladies.
call a spade a spade. Like culturally, it is still accepted
Yeah,
in 2021 that the man pays. So,
yeah.
but I don't disagree with you, Ben, but it still ain't like that here. So there you go. So
This-
you take a big hit on your pride when the old lady has to pay and you can't, right? Take a
You
big
can't
hit
say
on the
you don't.
pride.
You can't say you don't. You can't say you don't.
Take a big hit on the pride. Take a big hit on the pride.
You can't say you don't.
She ain't wrong by that. She ain't wrong
No,
about that either.
and on the next episode of After Dark.
Right?
So
Right?
so yeah, as I was saying before, man, it's very cool to see you and Amber still kicking it strong. How many children you guys have now?
We have two boys. We just recently had a COVID baby in April, which was rough. That was
Beautiful.
rough.
What
Rough.
so what was that like? Tell me about that. I want to hear about
They
that.
they almost didn't let me come in to see him being born or any of like that because of COVID happening.
Of course, yeah.
And of course, we had to argue him down. I'm like, I can't let my wife go in through this. You know what I'm saying? Because she
By
had a
herself?
by herself because she previously had complications before. So I can't let her do this by herself.
Copy
And
that.
they eventually let us in, but it was a rough process, especially with COVID going on.
How old are your boys now?
I have a 6-year-old. I
Okay.
have a 6-year-old boy, and then I have a he's 18 months. He's 18 months now.
Jesus
18-month-old
Christ.
boy. Yeah.
Man, that's
It's a
Yeah,
beautiful.
beautiful
little
thing,
ones.
man.
That's beautiful,
It's good.
man.
It's good. It's good to see. It's good to see you guys, kicking it strong, building a family. Because I remember you guys when I first met you guys. And one of the first instances of that I had with Dashawn Myers was him and another one. Him and another one of our boys, Kaywood, and another one, Tarico. They stopped in the middle of the road and helped me change my tire. Me just
Yeah.
having my first car ever. I've only had the car a couple months. I came from New Jersey. I didn't know how to fucking change a tire. I didn't even know I had a fucking a tire tool in my car. I didn't even know. But you know, so I appreciate that. Oh shit, Ben,
Yeah,
that's right. I
hey,
remember that.
see what Ben Davies just posted? Missed his daughter's birth. Like,
Oh my goodness, he did.
yeah.
Yeah, this was just recently. This
Oh
was
my
just
goodness, I
recently. I
could not
remember
even
this.
imagine that,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, man. I when I was reclassing, so when I went down to Fort Benning to basically go back to basic training, if you want to call it that, to reclass over to the infantry. My youngest daughter, Delilah, she was still brewing basically, and right before I got ready to leave Fort Leonard Wood to go down to Fort Benning, I took my wife at the time, my ex-wife, and my oldest daughter, and we took them back. I took them back to West Virginia to be with my ex-wife's family. And my youngest daughter was born in West Virginia, and I was not there. And it was because we were getting the house ready to go back on the market, and I was getting ready to go down to Fort Benning, so I had to take them away for about a month before she was born. And then I spent that last month just kind of cleaning the house and getting ready to go reclass over the infantry. I missed the birth of my child, like because Army, right? And
Yeah.
like Ben Davies talking about, like, I get it, man. Like I get it.
It's a
So
very
I'm
I'm glad
sorry,
interesting
Ben
thing, man.
Davies. I'm sorry about that, man.
I'm glad. Hey, man, honestly, Dashawn, man, you ain't got to be sorry, man. I'm glad you got to see it. I'm glad you were there.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, honestly,
and
I'm glad you were there. Like, I'm really, really glad you were there. Like,
yeah,
it
man,
makes
and
me
it's
happy that you were there.
yeah, and it's all well so deserving because you've always been a pure man at heart, and and then also saying that for those who remember, we had DD-214, we had our own struggles at one point, and many people, and I remember as soon as it happened, Dashawn, you wrote to me and you said to me, if there's anything I can do, just please let me know. And we cannot thank you enough for sticking it out with us, for hanging out every single week, supporting us, you and your wife together. Like,
Absolutely.
you guys have been so good to us, and we appreciate everything
Man.
Absolutely.
that you've done for
Absolutely.
DD-214.
Yeah.
Where can we find you, man?
You can find me on all social media at the Paleo Giant. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at the
How the
Paleo
fuck
Giant.
did you get that handle, dude? The Paleo Giant? How the fuck were you the first person with that fucking handle?
I don't know. I just decided to make it because I'm like 6'4", so I decided to just.
Are you seriously, dude? Are you seriously?
Yeah, yeah.
You're fucking
So,
giant. You're like a gentle giant, aren't you?
yeah, pretty much. And I said, "Oh, let me try the name." And I looked it up, and I have my whole own website now, the Paleo Giant, at www.thepaleogiant.com. And it's a blog that I have, and you can go on there to get the recipes, the actual ingredient list of all of my recipes I've been making recently. It was pretty cool getting that name though.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. That's good
Hell
shit,
yeah,
bro.
and
Fucking
it
happy
gets
for you,
good.
man. I'm
And
really
now
happy for you.
before we hit the final thought, just real quick before we go, just one major announcement that I want to share with you. May 20th on my birthday, date is subject to change. The roast of Jonathan Sanchez is happening. This is not going to be a streamed broadcasted event, but it will be recorded for your pleasure. If you're in the New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, New Jersey area, there will be some tickets available. There will be some giveaways for it as well. I don't know who the roasters are going to be, but it's coming in May, guys. Just get ready for it. It's this is gonna be fucked up. I'm probably gonna end up crying in the corner at the end of the day, but I get to roast everyone back.
That's right.
Also, for your energy needs, if you need to go for a run, if you need to make love to your wife, if you need to hug your friends or swallow the homies goodnight, make sure you use discount code for DD214 Gaming for your Rogue Energy order today. That's 10% off of your energy drink today. You get a box. There's whole different types of stuff, whole different types of flavors, guys. I like fruit punch and cookies and cream. So
Hey man, if you drink enough of that shit, you're gonna fucking hear colors and see sounds. Okay, so like, just fucking chug that shit. All right, chug it.
yes,
Chug as
we
much
Let me
as you
get this
fucking
straight.
can.
You said a whole 10%? A
Yeah,
whole
whole
10%?
The whole
10%.
10%. The whole
You
10%.
serious?
Yeah.
A whole 10%.
I'm
Yeah.
getting that.
I don't know. I don't know if you can do. You have a heart condition. I'd be careful. Dashawn.
No,
I'd be careful.
I'm okay
You have a
now.
heart
I'm okay
condition.
now. I'm okay. I had the surgery. I'm okay now. I had the surgery. But
Uh,
I think I'm gonna get some of
next,
that Rogue Energy, 10%
hey,
off. Might be worth it.
You never told
hey,
us about the
it
basketballs,
comes.
by the way. You never told
It
us. You
comes.
never told us about the basketballs, by the way. Just saying.
She was okay. So the basketball situation, she was trying to be cute and stuff, and she didn't have her glasses on, and the basketball just kept hitting her in the face. That's the whole situation. It just kept hitting her in the face. She didn't have her glasses on, so when we played basketball, it kept hitting her in the face.
I'm sure there's another perspective to this we haven't heard yet.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
almost guaranteed. That's almost guaranteed. That's fucking guaranteed.
Whoa.
Guys, also, I didn't even see that. And I'm glad I didn't. Next, guys, make sure you check out our link tree, www.linktree.com/dd214gaming. Make sure you go on the fucking YouTube and you click the subscribe button. That's the only way we're going to see that you guys are watching the videos, because people are watching the videos and it tells me that y'all aren't subscribed. People are watching the videos are not even subscribed. So, I mean, come on, guys, start subscribing. Tell your friends about it. There's always something going on. Check out Blaze 8 online for all your CBD and Delta 8 products and specialties. They got toothpaste, they got cream, they got gummies, they got rose blunts, whatever you need. Also, and last but not least, make sure you check out Smokey's Pet Pantry for all your pet needs. If you need some dog food, if you need to clean your dog's ass with a spray or something, Smokey's Pet Pantry has it. Did you lose the graphic for it, Joe?
Joe, are you alive? I think Joe just pissed his
Jesus.
pants. Joe pissed his
I
pants.
did lose the graphic for it. I probably used it to put something ridiculous up earlier.
Okay, that's okay. You know what? I want to. You want to do something different and let Dashawn do the
Yeah,
final thought?
absolutely.
Oh
He's seen the
wow,
show enough. He's seen the show enough. He knows how we roll. Do it,
I wasn't
Deshaun.
prepared for this.
You don't have to
But
be. You never are. You never are when it's your turn. Trust me.
so the final thought. It is the holiday time. It is holiday season, and many of us have lost a lot of people given COVID or military. So make sure you're taking your time to reach out to people that you do know that are still here, and try to find that love from those people. Don't try to go find it in the bottom of a bottle or doing other bad things. Uh, there's people here that love you and want you here, and just take that time out. You know, and we do have the number for if you have any of those bad thoughts. Yeah, 1-800 273.
1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-TALK. Keep going, Deshaun. You're doing good.
So those people are there to talk to you, and if you don't feel like you want to do that, there's people here to talk for you to talk to. So reach out. I know Jay has given his number out several times, and John, and I'm here also. So just reach out. We're always here, always listening.
Yep, and there's plenty of people in the group. We got friends, man. Sean, thank you so much, man. It's been a
Thank
long
you.
time coming.
This has been a real pleasure. This has been a real pleasure.
Oh man. Yeah. Hey guys, see you next week. Don't
Love
forget.
you guys very, very much. You guys all have a good week. Go Chiefs. Enjoy Thanksgiving, everybody.
All right, bye.